it's gorgeous. The
Yeah.
colors, the culture. I know you're big into culture. And like I broke down my ethnicity. I know. I'm sorry, I just had to reiterate. But like you could reiterate, but I also want to
No,
reiterate
I
too.
appreciate it. I'm glad you recognize it. We do, and it's so fascinating. But that's why I
Yes.
love doing what we're doing right here.
But so yeah, definitely, and I appreciate you for having me doing this. So why I said Diwali, like I said, the Indian culture is very lively. It's very bright, festive. It's I want to say inclusive, but that might not be the right word. But it's very encompassing. It's very what's the word where it just submerges you? Like it's
The joy of children laughing around you. These are the makings of you. It is true, the makings of you.
What's up, good people? How y'all doing today? Or this evening, this afternoon? This is your host, Mr. D713, or Drake with Everything Culture. And we're here with y'all back with the makings of Angel. How you doing, Angel?
I'm well. How are you?
I am great. Glad. Thank you for joining us, man.
By the way, I forgot to tell you that.
You forgot to tell me what?
I like your hoodie.
Oh, thank you. Okay, thank you. Once again, this is Baylorism exclusive right here. You feel me? You know. Now I'm gonna try to. We got some new hoodies on the website. The website has been updated. It's ready to go. It's pushing. So y'all make sure to check it out. Take your time to get on it. You know, I gotta throw in that ad for my folks. Now you ain't gonna get this though. Y'all ain't gonna get this joint. But I'm gonna try to put something together for y'all. Stand up for y'all one time. Oh, okay. Let me stop. You know.
Listen, all I'm saying is when I start my podcast, I need Baylor to come through with a hoodie for me.
Hey, you gotta take care of him. You gotta take care of him. This ain't this.
Listen, it's gonna be called Road Rage with Astra. Like that's what it's gonna be called.
Love it. Hey, well, I be trying to tell Baylor is the Hatari Hanzo hoodies. He don't understand it though. No, it's not just you gotta just he be hiding out. He don't like making hoodies. He's great at it, but he act like he don't like it. You know, you gotta chase him down. But yeah.
My dad used to do that in Trinidad a lot. So like my dad actually tried to teach me to do the screen printing one, not like the press one. But it's a process and my dad's getting older, so it's like, all right.
Hey, gotta pick up them talents while you can, baby. But hey, y'all do y'all. But hey, we're gonna get into it. So this is the makings of you. So the makings of you is a deep dive, getting to know Angel, getting to know a little bit about your background, upbringing. We're going to have some more intimate questions. We're going to have some a little bit lightful questions. But all in all, this is all you. You know, it's no wrong answers because nobody can answer for Angel like Angel can answer for Angel. You did?
Okay. True.
Okay. So we're going to start off with the first question. You ready?
I'm ready.
Okay. How would you describe yourself?
Ooh. Okay. So the cliche question that how I always answer that is first you have to know my name. So let me introduce you to Astra. That is who I am. I go by Angel, but since it's a deep dive, let you know my real name, which you already knew. But
I did.
My name, yes. A lot of people don't know my real name. So Astra means star in Latin or Greek, right? So when people meet me and they're like, how do you describe? I'm like, I'm me. I'm Astra. Like in the darkest of moments, I will shine. I always like, when I laugh and smile, people laugh and smile. So I feel like I am kind of like a star, not a celebrity, but what a star does.
Okay. Love it.
That's crazy. That's cliche, but
hey, once again, it's the making of Angel, or would you like this to be the making of Astra?
I think we should do the Makings of Astra
We're
instead.
gonna do the Makings of
I
Astra. That's
think
what we're
that
gonna
one.
do. We're gonna throw an Ottawa in right here. That's what I
Yeah, there
love.
you
Okay,
go.
that's what I'm talking about. Let's get into it. The Makings of Astra. Okay. How would you define or describe your culture?
Wow. I love my culture. I have never been asked to describe it. So I think my culture, if I had to describe it, it'll be fun, festive, and love.
Fun, festive, and love.
And love. Yes.
Love it. What do you identify as?
Ethnically or nationality? Okay, so nationality wise, I am a Trinidadian, born in Trinidad and Tobago. They're twin islands. Ethnically, I define as East Indian. I define as Spanish. I define as Black and like French Creole, which kind of falls under like the African Black, but I always specify that also.
All right. What's your zodiac sign?
I am a Scorpio, November Scorpio to be exact.
Should have known that. Okay. How would you define your childhood and upbringing?
Ooh, my childhood. It was good. How would I define it? I think it was good, like a roller coaster. It had its ups and downs, right? But as a child, I wasn't too aware of what was going on. I was more aware because I'm the older one. But yeah, I would call it a good roller coaster. A good roller coaster. Yeah, I like that. I like that.
Okay. What were the roles of your caregivers of your parents coming up?
Okay, so my mom was a housemaker, stay-at-home wife. She, as long as I've known her, she did not have an official job. My dad is a graphic artist, so he does signs, a sign fabricator kind of thing. So that's what my dad does. He was the breadwinner. My mom is a great cook, so she did a lot of cooking when we were growing up, and she would sell and bake things. So she also brought in some stuff in her own way. But I would say my parents had that traditional parent role. Male was the provider, female was the
Home
the
take.
homemaker. Yeah.
Gotcha. Okay. You have any siblings?
I have one, a younger brother by 2 years.
Okay. How does it feel like? What does it feel like being the eldest sibling?
Um, to be honest, we're so different that I don't always feel as if I'm the older one. I feel as if we're almost, I don't want to say equal because I would say insinuate that we're the same. But we're on like the same playing ground. He is a lot more serious than I am. So in some matters, I do feel younger than him.
Okay.
But yeah, I wouldn't say, yeah, I wouldn't even say that there was anything special about being older.
All right. Thank you.
Yeah.
So far in your journey in life, how do you feel about your education?
I have reached a point where I think education is partially a hoax.
Mm.
So it's funny you said that. So I'm gonna go in a little deep. So I just finished my bachelor's. I just finished my bachelor's January 2021. It took me 11 or 12 years to complete. On and off for a very long time. I did it. It is in chemistry and applied mathematics. So we're in December. So 11 months later, and I no longer want to work in my field of education. Even though throughout the years, this is what I wanted to do so badly. And I still love it. You know, I still love doing what I'm doing, but it doesn't make me whole or complete like it once did, you know?
Yeah.
So I think that even though my education was always, you know, growing up, it was always a huge thing. And I'm glad I completed what I did, even though I want to do more. At this point, it's almost kind of not null and void, but not as important as I once thought it was.
Thank you for sharing.
Yeah.
Once again, I ain't gonna throw my 2 cents in with you right here, but I already know I got you for a future episode. I already pinned in right there. You just put yourself in it. But that's, believe it or not, that's somewhat common. But
Yeah.
thank you once again. Thank you again for sharing, because there's people out here that need to hear that.
Yeah, but I do want to clarify one thing. When you say education, I took it as institutional education, right? But I believe that we should all be learning on a daily basis. If you're not learning something daily, then you're not really, I don't want to say that you're not living, but you're kind of not living. You know what I mean? So education comes in different forms. I was just talking about institutional education.
Right, all right. Thank you, Astra. Thank you, Astra. Okay. Where do you consider home?
Home has become wherever I am. Wherever I am and whoever has my heart, whether it's family, friends, whatever, that is my home. It's my comfort zone. That's how I would define it, because I'm not tied to Jersey. Well, I'm in Jersey. I'm not tied to Jersey. I actually kind of want to leave. I I am Trinidadian, like I said. All my family is there mostly, but I couldn't live there longer than a couple of months, just because of the lifestyle I would have to adapt to. So I can't call that home, even though I do refer to it as my home. Um, so I I'm kind of like a nomad in that sense, because wherever I am, whoever has a part of my heart, that's my home. And that's how I would define that.
Love it. I love it. So, coming up, did you have any chores in the household?
Of course. My first meal was at 12 or 13. It was curry chicken and rice.
Okay, we had that last week. Go ahead.
So yeah, I definitely had chores from a young age, and being in a Caribbean household, as a female, I had to be in the kitchen. I had to cook and clean. Before I was cooking, I was cleaning. Um, yeah, so I definitely had a lot of chores. Definitely, I can't.
No. Hey, I'm just looking at you. Everybody that's listening to this can't see your face. Y'all need to check us out on YouTube at Everything
Oh
Culture.
my
But you can see her thinking. She was like, "Y'all just have no idea. Like,
God.
what do you mean that I have chores? Like, duh. Like, hey, you just like looked like you was having a flashback at the moment. I was like,
I was having a debate in my head, and just to let you in on what I was thinking that I don't consider myself what's the word? Domesticated. That's the
I
word.
was about to say, but this is your episode. And I'm about to say, she talking about domestication. Because we be chopping it up. And I'm like, hey, but you'll surprise your own self sometime, won't you?
Right. So I have never considered myself domesticated. Only in the last year and a half do I realize that I have it in me. But it's a choice I would definitely have to make, not just willingly, just not just like, oh yeah, today I'm gonna, no. I have to make a conscious decision to be domesticated. But I have it in me. So that's why the whole chore thing kind of threw me off, because it's like I always rebelled growing up doing those things, especially if I didn't want to. And then on top of that, like I said, a Caribbean household, you must do it on their time and their time only. So
Hey,
yeah.
you touching into the next question. if you didn't do those chores, if you didn't follow procedure, things of that nature, how are you disciplined growing up?
Oh, I was hit. I was spanked. I was beat.
Okay,
There
continue to
was
escalate.
right. There was no. There was no timeout. Depending on how bad it was, maybe we got a talking to. Um, but after a certain age, it was more talking than hitting. But for a good amount, it was hitting.
Lord, I hope you hope everything's well. Therapy and counseling is needed. Hope like
Oh,
we everything coach we support therapy, Jesus, and edibles. So whatever it takes to get you where you need to be, we support that. You ain't got to do all of them. I would say do one for sure, but hey,
to,
take care of it.
to be honest with you, my punishments growing up did not scar me. Um, I don't have anything against it.
Mm-hmm.
If I were to raise kids, I definitely believe in sparing the rod, not the child, or whatever that saying is. Um, I, there's a few things I would change, but I don't think the hitting part was necessarily one of them.
Mm. Wow. Thank you. So now stepping into what were and what are your beliefs?
In what aspect? Just in general?
These are open-ended questions. However you interpret them. It's all on you.
Okay. Well, usually when people say beliefs, I automatically go to religion.
Mm-hmm.
I do not believe in religion anymore whatsoever. Not even a little bit. I don't know if you can see this idol that's hanging up in my car. He's facing my direction.
Right.
Can you see him?
Yes.
Okay, so this is Ganesh, right? Ganesh, however you pronounce it. He's a Hindu deity, right?
Mm-hmm.
I was raised Christian. This is not something that a lot of people accept, but it just goes to show, like, I believe in whatever makes me comfortable. So him being in my car, he's the deity, he's the god of removing obstacles along with some other stuff. And I've been in some accidents. I have mild PTSD on the road. And believe it or not, he brings me peace and calm on the road sometimes when I really need it. So, I believe in what makes me better and what makes me happy and comfortable.
Love it. I was just thinking when you said removing obstacles, I'm like, you be driving like that?
So I don't. So I don't. I am a very efficient driver. I do not use the word safe because I feel like people think safe means slow. No, I'm an efficient driver. I get where I have to go and I do it effectively and efficiently. However, I do like speed. I'm not going to hold you on that.
Okay.
The law has only convicted me once of speed. So, I don't know if that constitutes me as a speed demon, but
Man, one time you good, one time you good.
well, technically it's been 3. I just fought the other 2.
Well, I take that comment back. No, I keep the comment the same. One time you good, but if you go over one, different conversation.
So, yeah, but my license has never been suspended due to it. So I think, I'm good.
Okay.
Yeah.
So this is a new one that we just throwing in. Someone gave us to it. This is recommended by one of the members of Everything Culture, our community, I would say. Give us your number one, if you're going through some type of heartbreak or sadness, what's your song that you listen to?
Oof. Oh, wow. Ranking songs is such a hard thing to do. The first thing that comes to mind, but it's not always the case, would be, I think his name is Marvin Sapp. He's gospel. What's that album he has? And he's wearing a suit on the front. Best of Me, I think.
Mm-hmm. Best of me.
So that
I know which one
album,
you're talking about.
yeah. And then the other album would be Heather Headley's He Is. Those are the two albums that I really listen to quite a bit when I'm going through something.
You didn't give me a song though.
Oh,
You just go put the whole album. Yeah, that'll
I
work for me.
was just going for the whole album. Okay, so
Hey,
song.
but this is the makings of you.
Yeah.
So if we want the whole albums, we'll keep them whole albums. Because if the whole album speaks to you in that time and moment, hey, that's what we're gonna share with the people.
Okay, you know what?
Mm-hmm.
Then I have to change my answer.
Okay.
So whole album, I'm keeping Heather Headley. But if I had to pick one song, the Marvin Sapp album would have to drop, and it would have to be "Imagine Me" by Kirk Franklin. That song makes me cry almost every time I listen to it.
Okay. You got some roots in you. We'll keep it going. We'll keep it going. All right. Give me 3 words that describe your community.
My community. Small.
Mm-hmm.
And, how would I describe my community? Powerful.
All right.
Well, powerful or impactful. I'm not sure which one I want to use, but the third one would be I want to say fluid. I want to say fluid, but I think I need some, background to that word, just a little bit, so it's not
Misconstrued.
Misconstrued. Thank you. Fluid. So when I say fluid, I mean like water. Water it's a fluid. It goes with you if you want it to go. That kind of thing. It supports you no matter what. I just didn't want to use solid or rock because, my community is made of humans. Humans make mistakes, so.
Say that. Okay. All right, go to our next question. Okay, give me one of each. Give me a movie that you would recommend, a book that you would recommend, and a television series that you would recommend.
I'm going to start with the book because I used to be, and I still am, an avid reader. It is a utopian fiction trilogy. It is called The Uglies. That's the first book. The second one is called The Pretties, and the last one is called, I think, The Specials. I can't remember, but it's by Scott Westerfield. I don't know if it's categorized as like teen or young adult, but it's a great read. It gets you thinking, actually. But it's generally a great, great book. I've read that series at least 3-4 times in my life already.
Wow. They haven't made it into a movie yet or nothing? An adaptation series?
But it would be really dope if it was. I don't want to give too much away, but it's, like I said, it's a utopian fiction, and it's kind of like coming of age. You said the other one was a movie and a TV show, correct?
Correct.
Okay. TV show. I have very picky TV and movie selections. So TV, I can't really give you a television one. Currently, I'm watching a lot of Korean drama, and I love Korean drama. So you know what? Actually, I'll give you the first one that comes to mind. It's on Netflix, called Crash Landing on You, I believe. I watch it subtitled. I do not watch it in English. It is about this businesswoman who ends up parasailing or parachuting over the border of South Korea into North Korea. And that's where the story begins. And as you know, North Korea is not too keen on visitors or people leaving. So it's a very interesting, very interesting.
And I
Yeah.
gotta shout my people out. Do you follow Black Girl Soul?
I don't know. I don't think I do. Doesn't seem familiar.
Oh, she comes into the chat on Fridays occasionally. She goes into something else. They have a whole podcast dedicated to Korean dramas from a Black perspective.
Okay, you'll have to send me that because
Absolutely. I said, shout out to Black Girl Soul. Y'all doing the big out here. I'm so shocked and surprised. They were the first Black women or Black people that I know, period, that likes Korean dramas. Then I'm hearing it more
okay.
and more and more and more, and I'm like, I always send people to them. Like that's a real niche. I'm not. It's a real platform now.
Yeah, it is. And there's one other that I really like, but Netflix never brought the second season, and I think it's called it's a Turkish one. I can't remember, but when I do, I'll let you know. It was really good. It's funny, drama filled, emotional, that kind of stuff. Movie. Wow. I have two movies that I think are the best movies that I've ever watched.
Mm-hmm.
Like just an overall. I don't know if I always recommend them because certain people may not like it, but it's Avatar, the one with the blue people, and Inception.
Okay.
However, that's just like an overall cinematic view. Like it's an overall great movie. Personally, I don't. Personally, I would say the best movie. Okay. All right. I love foolishness. I love tomfoolery. There's an Indian movie called Piku. Piku or Pinku. I think it's Piku. Pinku. It is one of the stupidest movies you'll ever watch. So in advance,
we got you.
But it's a really good movie. I've watched it at least 2-3 times in my life, and I've only heard about it a couple years ago. It's really good. It's interesting.
Okay.
It's a movie about shit. I'm just gonna keep it real with you.
Okay, Pinku. I'll make sure I'm about to check that out soon. I'm trying to get past this Matrix Resurrections, and
I've never seen that. I've never seen any of the Matrix movies.
Really?
Yeah. See that? So if that was a question, I literally have not seen so many movies that people have tried to revoke my black card. They'd be like, "Oh my God, how are you living?" Listen,
I don't believe
and it's not just black. I know, but I'm just
because the Matrix is not black. They may try to remove your American card for that, whatever.
But there are a lot of movies that you would expect people to have seen at my big age, and just never seen it.
It's okay, but because of the two films that you recommended, I'm gonna recommend that you watch The Matrix from the very beginning. I probably won't hear from you for a while after you watch the first one. And like it's you. That's why I was like, you like those two, and I'm watching it. You like, we'll talk about it more. But The Matrix, like it's a especially your first time watching it, and you never watched it ever. Yeah, it's gonna mess you up a little bit. It's deep.
You think so? Is it deeper than Inception?
Yes.
Huh.
Because if you finish all three of them and you pay attention to what's happening in society right now and kind of what so far what you've been talking, I'm like, yeah. But then you say you never watched it. I'm like, when you watch it, it's gonna be like that's when you're gonna get hooked. I promise. You're gonna have. I can see your Twitter blowing up already.
I have another book to recommend because it just came to me. Again, I don't know. I think it might be young adult, but I think it's called The Scorpion. Right?
Okay.
And it's about this, I don't know if he's like a drug lord or not, but he makes clones to harvest their organs so he can live longer.
So when you go watch The Matrix, then he doesn't going back to that.
Yeah, I will definitely listen. It's on my list. It's just it needs a little extra for me to get to it. That's all.
The only thing that I would say that's not close to, I would say, well, yeah, actually, Avatar could be absolutely. You have to think about it now. All three of those films that you're talking about, it's like all of that's in the Matrix, all of it. Now, the one thing I look at Avatar is a lot that pisses me, and we'll talk about. I'm gonna give y'all a little bit because people say they want to hear me talk a little bit more on the Makings of You for folks. But with Avatar, I look at that totally as colonialism. Simple as that. Simple as that. I'm like nothing else.
Listen, it is. It completely is. And the thing is, Avatar, yes, the storyline is good, but if I had to rank the aspects of that movie, the storyline would be at the bottom. It would be in the bottom of whatever the list is. It would be definitely because the storyline is basic.
They kind of gave us a new age Pocahontas. That's what it felt like.
Right. And honestly, like the reason I like that movie so much is one, when I first saw it, I saw it in IMAX. Right? It was an amazing experience. You know what I mean? And just like the CGI, everything. It was like, but yes, the story definitely was not one of its best aspects. So.
Okay. Next question. Enjoying this. Once again, y'all, this is the Makings of Astra or the Makings of Angel, which one of you may hear, but she's here with us today on Everything Culture. This is her deep dive. This is a show. Make sure to subscribe, make sure to follow, and make sure to check us out on future episodes as well. She will be back. So going into our next question. If you could call 3 people that you've met in life, no matter if they're here or not, what 3 people would you call?
That's gonna make me emotional. Okay, I would call Balig. If you've been following me for a while, it's a name I always tweet that I miss. I miss him. Balig, Amir, and the third person. It's a toss-up between my grandmother and Joyce.
Okay.
I will go with my grandmother. She's my last living grandparent alive, and she's the only reason I would ever move back to Trinidad, honestly. But yeah, Balig is gone, Amir is gone, and my grandmother is getting old. So those are the 3 people I would call.
I know it'll be a beautiful conversation either way. So, and thank you for sharing with us as well. And once again, the Makings of You, sometimes I tell people to bring some tissues or some Kleenex because you can get there sometime.
No, well, okay. Well, I don't know if your future questions will lead me down to tell it, but I lost my friend Balig. He had reoccurring tumors in his brain. I lost him in 2018, and I have never hurt the way I hurt when I lost him. Till this day, I'm not over it, but I'm managing it. You know what I mean? Like the grief. And it took me a while to realize, like, listen, there's some things that you just won't get over in life. You know what I mean? And death is one of them. Like, I can't see myself at this point in my life seeing into the future. I can't see myself getting over that death. That death really took a toll on me. Like, he is my angel. It's kind of one of the reasons I came up with Angel in the first place. Balig literally was like an angel sent from heaven. We became friends. We went to the same high school, but we didn't get to know each other until I was at community college, which was like about a year after I graduated. I met him. He knew when to call me when I was down. He knew what to say. He knew how to make me happy. He knew how to make me smile. I don't really regret anything, but I always think like what if, which is a dangerous thing to ask or think. But he actually wanted to date me, but back then I was like really into my books and stuff like that. I wasn't thinking of anything like that. Plus I had a lot of stuff going on in my life that I just couldn't think of that. And yeah, yeah. So that is one soul that I miss daily. If there's times where like I wish I can just like call and talk to him because going through life you always need that one person no matter who they are that will just make you forget about your problems.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So he was that. Same thing with Amir. I lost Amir uh before I lost the leg, and Amir was also like that. Like I know you see me going back and forth on the timeline with Mike and Lowell. I don't know if you see me going back and forth with Lowell, right? But those two people, I'm always challenging them, and for some reason, they just always end up challenging me back. And Amir was like that, but not as infuriating. So, uh, not as infuriating. So, I miss that. It's I'm one of those people that enjoy a really good mental banter, and Amir used to do that. And at the end of it, he would make me smile and laugh. Which is a really big part of my life. Like I know I laugh and smile easily, but if you can genuinely make me laugh, like that means a lot to me because it means you actually know me or you pay attention to what I need to do or what I like, that kind of thing.
Absolutely understand. Um, kind of. I usually would go to the next question, and the next question I believe you already answered just now. So, and that's let us know. Hey, I got a good line of questions that we have for
Mhm.
everyone. But talking about with grief and dealing with death, dealing with loss, dealing with hurt. Um, I picked this up somewhere some time ago, and it stuck with me. But you got to look at loss or grief as a ball, okay? And you got to look at yourself as something that ball is within. Okay, you'll circle yourself, and that ball is right there. When that grief happened, it takes up a lot of you. Okay,
Mhm.
when that loss happened, it takes up a lot of you. What you need to do is continue to grow. That
Yeah.
ball will always be there. Okay, it will always be there. But more you grow, smaller it become. But it will
Mhm.
find a way around. And you know it. The more you grow, sometimes you will start feeling a little bit smaller sometimes as well. And that ball would come back and like it become big again. But the
Mhm.
best thing is continue to expand your circle, be in touch with more people, continue to once again build yourself, fill yourself up, but once again, that's how I want to say it won't go anywhere. But that's how I deal with it, and that's what I've learned as well.
I definitely agree with you. But I think that works in some aspects. If I'm looking at my whole life, that will definitely work with some, but not the others. Um, I've been trying to grow and like become better or whatever, but there's certain losses and grief periods of grief that I look back and that ball, I don't want it a part of my life anymore. I try to get to a point where it's just like not existent, you know? So it works,
I understand.
definitely. But yeah.
The next question that we had was actually, what has been an impactful moment in your life? So I don't know if you want to share something else, or you be like, "That's the one." Either way, we're here for it.
Um, I wish I knew what some of the questions were coming so I don't like, have to repeat. But
Well,
I
like
will
you could have
say,
listened to the makings of anyone. So
I was,
just saying,
I would
I got
appreciate
about
this,
good 60,
okay?
70 of these.
I know, but listen, I like to listen to lectures more than I would listen to podcasts. So I'm definitely trying to support y'all. But
Okay.
listen, it's not my fault. But okay, so aside from Balig's death, which, you know, definitely was impactful. there is another point in my life that wasn't just a moment, it was like a period of time. And that would be my marriage.
Mm.
So, yeah. I'm okay to talk about it, but you would definitely have to ask questions for me to like expound because it's one of those things where like I can't just really just randomly talk about it. I have to have some direction
Yeah.
of what I'm telling you about. So yeah. But you're more than welcome to ask questions. It's just I wouldn't know where to begin.
We're gonna have more questions in the future on another episode when we do a little bit more of a deep. That, see that you just opened up, you just brought yourself on another episode right there. You know, that is a moment right there. It's a long moment, but it's a moment nonetheless.
Yeah.
So okay. If you had a theme song, what would it be?
Wow, a theme song. Okay. I don't know if it would be an existing song, but I can break it down for you really quickly.
Go ahead.
So it'll be a mix between soca, chutney, and calypso. It would start off not solemn, but like, peaceful. Kind of like, how Fantasia song starts off? They're not like sad, but they're like,
Hit you with that
it
piano.
sets a right. It sets a story / mood or whatever. And then at the climax of that calm storytelling would be an explosion of feisty, fiery, upbeat music. That would be my song.
Okay.
My theme. Sorry, I have really dry eyes, so if I start crying, it's because my eyes are dried.
It's fine. It's fine. You good. You're halfway through. You're doing a great job.
No, I'm fine. I'm just letting you know. A lot of people see me shedding tears and be like, "Oh my god, why are you crying?" I'm not crying. My eye is just dry.
Hey, once again, everybody that listens to the show know my weakness. If you listen, you would know my weakness. I ain't gonna tell y'all until I ain't gonna tell it again. But trust me, I know when it's happening. Just like tell you that. I'm a big empath. I'll tell you that. All right. How would you define joy?
Wow, joy. Okay, joy is more than happiness. Um, but I think happiness is a part of joy. Joy would be an unconditional happy, so to speak, in my opinion. It's like I think sometimes, we can fall in and out of happiness, so to speak.
Mm-hmm.
But something that is joyous, something that brings you joy, I think it's unconditional. It doesn't end. Like this might be a bad example, but like how I said, how my friend Balig made me feel, that he brings me an unconditional joy because till this day, even though he's no longer with me, once I take the time to sit down and think about him and all the positive stuff, I get happy.
Yeah.
Tears might be coming down my face, but it's still a joy. You know what I mean? Like it's still, yeah. So that's how I would describe it.
No, I read you loud and clear. You're good with me, seriously. What changes do you want to see in your culture?
I want to see openness. I do want to see more of that. Again, I'm not sure if this is like an overshare, but you know what? I'll just keep it brief. There are things about me that I would love to make my entire community aware of. However, I know that if I were to tell certain people, it would not be as easily accepted as it should be.
Mm-hmm.
So I'll just put that there.
We got you.
Yeah.
Thank you for sharing. Thank you for sharing. What privileges do you benefit from?
None.
Hey.
I don't. I always joke about like, you know, well, I don't joke about it, but I always talk about the Trini Charm. There's a charm that Trini people have. And sometimes COVID has made me lose my touch. So I don't necessarily have it, full blown like it used to be. But the only thing I can possibly think of me benefiting from, like a privilege that I would have, would be that charm, because it gets people I don't want to say it gets people going, but it gets people going. Like, it allows me to make people feel a certain way that, you know,
No, you done messed up,
you
and
know,
now I gotta go and find that sound bite. It gets people going.
yeah, no, definitely. But again, charm isn't necessarily a privilege. So, I could hint at it, but I don't think I have any privilege per se.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you. In what areas in your life do you feel that you need to heal?
Um, I do need to heal from quite a few things. Um, there's like one or two things that sometimes I resent, but sometimes I don't, because I understand what happened and why it happened. Um, so those could be two things, but heal in general, I need to forgive myself. That's the healing I need to do. I'm really, really hard on myself, really, really hard. So I have to be more forgiving of myself.
Okay.
And if I can heal from that, if I can just rectify that, I think I would be in a lot better of a space than I currently am.
Absolutely. Hmm. Change with things. When did you realize you were different?
When did I realize it?
Mhm.
I've always known. Um, I've always known I'm different. I think, wow, this is a really good question.
Thank you.
When did I realize I was different? We might have to circle back to that one.
We'll put a pin in it. We'll put a pin in it.
Yeah.
We'll come back.
Let's come back to it, because I definitely want to attempt an answer,
Hey,
but it's gotta soak in, because that you threw me a curveball. I was not expecting that.
same questions every episode, y'all, but we keep it going. But y'all, hey, you ain't the only one. You ain't the only one. This is the makings of Astra. So once again, no wrong answers. It's just
Sure.
you. And thank you for sharing yourself with us. We really
Mhm.
appreciate that. Um, how do you and your family operate with death?
um. Okay, so my immediate family consists of four people: my parents, my brother, and I. It's four. Um, my mother and I probably handle it similarly, but very different at the same time. Um, so for me, if the person, and I shouldn't say if the person made an impact, because that just sounds bad, but if the person left a deep enough impression on my life, right? The grief is higher. When the grief is higher, time, the time it takes to get over it increases,
Mhm.
right? Um, and even though I think very logically, uh, grief and death is not one of those things that my logic easily combats, especially when the impression is really deep, like Belig. That is not something like I've been struggling since 2018. You know what I mean?
Right.
Right. So obviously that was really hard. Um, then my mom, not even my mom. Let me finish mine. So like when I was younger, when we came to the States, I lost family members that we couldn't visit, which could be another episode now that I'm thinking about it, because that's a whole nother part of my life. But yeah, so losing family members and not being able to visit or to go see them or whatever, it made getting over it easier because the connection wasn't as deep, right?
Yeah.
For my mom is very similar to me, but we're very, very different. She has that same mentality. She will grieve, but her time frame tends to all have a similarity to it. It's not proportional per se. You know what I mean? Like she'll still miss her father, her brothers, um, but I don't see her get as emotional as I would thinking about my friend who
Yeah.
passed.
Uh,
Same thing with my dad, even less so. Like, he still grieves for his parents, but you know, you know what? Now that I'm thinking about it, the other three of them are very similar. They don't necessarily show it as much, right? They'll acknowledge it, but they don't necessarily show it as much. I think I might be the most emotional one in my family. Which
and it's
is funny because
fine.
I am no, but it's funny because I'm really not that emotional. I can accept my emotions, but I do not express my emotions.
You know, when you show them this, I want them to come on so we can do all four, the full family, so we get a perspective from everyone, and y'all can share that which one you want to. It'd be the learning moment, it's an experience. But and and this is a question that I recently added. This is the second time I asked it, and I think I may change the wording. But how do your family or your culture, I guess, not the word operate, but let's say recognize death? I'm not trying. I'm trying to make it to the point where funerals. How do people gather? How people to and someone's gone. What do you do in the culture to? I know with some people from Louisiana, they may do a second line. It's more of a celebration. I'll just put a question up yesterday on. It was the day before, talking about we do the fried chicken. After the church, everybody come together, or the one of the homes. We got people that may try to jump in the casket. We got all those type of things.
Oh
you
man.
know, but that's all I'm thinking about that one. But
Okay, so how do we get through the process of death until burial is kind of what you're
or the whole like even
yeah,
burial.
the whole
So I guess
okay.
maybe yeah.
So I told you how we kind of handle it. That's just general.
hmm
Um so it's different. My dad's side is Catholic. My mom's side is a mixture between Hindu and Pentecostal or whatever.
mm
So it's all different. Christians, a lot of them do the same thing. You know, they bury. A lot of them just bury the bodies. They wear all black. Say have a service. Say whatever, and then food is a big part of our culture, so we have food afterwards, right? um, I wouldn't say there's anything special per se about it. I think just the environment of having a funeral in Trinidad, it will be different than having a funeral up here. But essentially, the aspects are the same. For the Hindu side, it is it's a more to me, it feels more festive. It feels more of a celebration. To be honest with you, the last Hindu funeral I went to, I feel like I actually was a little bit more at peace walking out than any other funeral I might have ever been to.
Wow.
So for Hindus, they cremate, right? They cremate the body. Usually the family and friends usually wear white, not black. There's a lot of like offering and prayers said over the body. So like the last one I went to, we actually was able to get up, walk up to the casket and like give a flower or to say a prayer or something. But it was done in a way that it was inclusive of everyone. It wasn't just like whoever wants, go ahead. You know what I mean? It wasn't like that. It was more like, you're here to pay your respect, like come up, be a part of it. Even if you just need to see him for like the person for a second or two, do that, In Trinidad, they do the same thing. They burn the bodies outside. And then they scatter ashes or you keep it however it is. But again, aside from like the little minor details of like cremation and how, people gather and where they gather, it's essentially the same. Like we come together, we either talk or laugh or cry, and then we eat and celebrate. It's kind of what it is.
I love it. I love it. I
Yeah.
love it. Shout out to my niece, London. She did that. She was the inspiration for that question right there,
Nice.
because she made the response that she didn't know what our culture looked like. Because she was looking at other cultures and how they bury and how they have funerals, and I was like, we have a whole process. I'm like, what do you
Yeah.
mean? And would you say, with the Hindu and then Trinidad, I never knew that. I did not know they burned the bodies. This is
Yeah.
a learning moment for me. So once again, thank you for sharing and educating us. But yeah, so okay. Our next question: who do you respect?
I want to give you a very general answer, even though I don't think it's adequate. I respect those who respect themselves and me. All right. And I use the word and. So, like I said, big into math. It's not that if you respect yourself, that's great. Right. That's by all means fine. But for me to respect you, you have to respect yourself. And in addition to respecting yourself, you have to respect me. You know what I mean? Because if you respect me, but not yourself, me respecting you will seem like a imbalance. It won't seem balanced. It wouldn't seem, you know, complete, to say the least. But then if you respect yourself but you don't respect me, why would I in turn respect you? You know?
Yeah.
So
You have any names for me? You got like maybe 2 or 3 people you respect?
who I respect? I respect a lot of my family members, my mom, my dad, my brother. My 2 really good friends at the moment, Joyce and Lowell, respect the hell out of them. I think respect is also a form of love. So those 3, 4, 5 people I do love also. I respect my grandmother. She's been through a lot, and even though she's older, like for her to still be the way she is, I respect it. She's a fighter. So I would say off the top of my head, if I had to give you names, it would be those
And thank you
6
for
people.
sharing. All right. We rolling right ahead. What was your first fear?
Fair.
Fear.
The first fear, in hindsight, it would be the fear of failure. The fear of failure. I do not like anything other than positive and yes. in certain situations. It is something I have to work on. It's a part of that forgiving myself thing that I mentioned earlier. But yeah, fear of failure is definitely, in hindsight, the one of the earliest ones I can remember, but it's also one of the ones that's still affecting me till this day.
Absolutely understand. And thank you for sharing.
Mhm.
Okay. The next one we have, what are you responsible for?
What am I responsible for? Wow. Um, I'm responsible for a lot of things. I think the two biggest ones I would have to say would be I'm responsible for my, I don't want to say happiness because it's not the full word, it's not adequate enough. Like there's more to the happiness, but I'm responsible for my happiness. Um and I am responsible for, I'm responsible for my future,
Okay. All right. All
right?
right. I love it.
Yeah.
All right. Let's jump back a little bit. If you're ready, what?
I know, by all means, I'm just trying to think because I said happiness and there was a little bit more to it, you know. But no, by all means, continue.
Hold on. What was the question that we had to go back to? Was it a theme song? Was that it?
No, it wasn't. It was after that.
So we got what privileges you got that one. Oh,
Mhm.
when did you realize you were different? There we go.
Okay, so there are there are moments in my life, whether in hindsight or um in that actual moment itself, where things became noticeable to me that I was different. Um there was there was an instance in 2012 that I don't think this is the right space to share, but in a nutshell, I noticed that there was something about me that was different then. Um, Looking back in my life, I always remember in like elementary school, they used to like do our like weigh us and measure our heights or whatever. And I always look back and I always remember one time, I think it was either fourth grade or fourth or fifth. And I always remember the number. I was like 98 or 96 pounds, right?
Mhm.
Um, in that age group. And I always remember that. And I kind of knew then, like in hindsight, that I was different because how do I begin? I struggle with my weight, right?
Mhm.
I don't look as heavy as I am, but I am. Um,
I don't either.
yeah. So like, it's always a health concern. They always think like, oh my gosh, if you have all that weight, it's an issue. You know what I mean? But my mom always tells me like since I was a baby, I've kept that same proportion. Like the proportion I am when I was a baby, if you scale it up, I'm that same proportion till this day. But because I used to get teased for my weight, I used to get teased for how I look and all that stuff. That is that first moment looking back, that I can remember like, yeah, I was different. Like it's all physically, but I think that counts still. So
It does.
that would
Absolutely
be
does.
that would be the moment. But funny story, there is one. I don't really consider this because, looking back it was just, kids being kids. When I first came to the States in 90, I think it was 97. I can't remember. I think it was 97. When I first came to the States in 97, they put me into first grade. I was ahead of everyone in my class. because Trinidad is on the British education system. Mm-hmm. And the way that we're taught, I had already learned half of the things I learned in first grade. I had already learned it.
Yes.
But we were standing in a circle, because at first grade, like, you're still learning basic things. We're standing in a circle, and the teacher was like, you got to use one word to describe the person next to you, right? And I still had an accent at that point, and I called the person next to me short, and the entire circle started laughing. But I did not know why they're laughing, because I'm being genuine. Like, he's short, right? Compared to me, he's short. So I said that, and till this day, I am like that. There are things that I would say genuinely that people will look at me like either laugh or be shocked or whatever. I'm like, what's the problem? Like, I meant it genuinely, you know? I'm sorry that my words don't always work for some people, but yeah, that was one of those moments that I was like, huh, I'm different. And I used to say the word character. It's so, when I first came here, I didn't say character, I say character. Right?
Yeah, I can see that. I can see that.
So, you know, that every time when I would say that, they would all laugh at me. That's I felt different. Until this day, my friends still make fun of me for how I say certain words. Like, I don't say comfortable, I say comfortable.
No, I recognized that earlier. I was just about to bring that up. But I understand. I wasn't gonna say anything. I'm like, okay, look at the accent coming out.
I say vegetables. I don't say vegetables. I say vegetables. There's other things, but I can't really think of them at the moment.
I love it. I appreciate it. Okay, going to our next question. Mm-hmm. Who would play you? Who would you choose to play you in your biopic?
I'm glad you said bio, because had you said autobiography, I would have said me. Bio. So, you know how people say everyone has a doppelganger? I've never met someone who looks enough like me for me to be like, you could play me. No. Even till this day, there's not a celebrity that I can think of that I look like or they look like me. There was this one girl when I was younger who kind of looked like me, but didn't. Personality-wise, I would say, like, my mental monologue would probably be Ryan Reynolds.
Okay.
No, my mental monologue.
I got you.
Just mentally.
So, will he do if you have someone acting as you, but he'll be the voice in the head, like he's doing the monologue?
Yeah. So cool. Like my thoughts would be him. Like, he would be the personality for my thoughts. I may not be as funny as him, but some of the stuff he says are definitely things I've said in different ways, shapes, and forms. So yeah. What's that girl who played? Remember, I think there's an actor called America Ferrera, something like that. I think she can probably play me. I've seen her in one or two things, maybe three things that I think she can actually get away with, my demeanor physically.
Okay, what was she in?
She was in that show Ugly Betty.
Yeah, that's how she looked. Yeah, and from LA, 37 years old, 5'1". She's 5'1". Mm-hmm. Okay.
Oh, she's short. All right, so I mean, I'm not 5'1", but close enough.
Okay. American Ferrera and Ryan Reynolds as the background. Hey, I can see it. I don't know if anybody else can see it. I can see it. Okay. If you were wealthy beyond means, like you never got to worry about money a day in life. You have it. You got it, whatever you want. But you had to keep one job. You had to do one thing. What would that thing be?
Okay. It's a toss-up. It's a toss-up between being a math tutor for kids or working in a certain capacity of customer service. The math tutor, because I think in America, well, if I'm in America, I think math is a huge part of life, even though as a kid people don't realize it. And a lot of people in the States, around the world, struggle with math. And I've been told I have, what's the word?
Skill.
That's not the word, but let's go with that.
Yeah.
I have a way with teaching kids math. I've tutored from from first grade all the way up to college.
Wow.
And I used to get paid for it. People actually passed. People used to pay me to do certain, things too. So I am really good at it. I've never had someone you like, oh my God, I don't get it after I've explained it. So I think I would definitely do that. The other, what did I say? Oh, some capacity of customer service.
Yeah.
I have really good people skills, even though I don't like people half the time. I have really good people skills.
It's that Trini Charm.
When I choose to, and I actually am invested, I connect well with people. I understand, and I do my best to find solutions for them. I used to work at the airport, and I loved that job. It just wasn't well paying, and but if money is no option, then it doesn't matter. Exactly. I could do that part time, and I'll be able to meet a lot of people and travel. So yeah, those would be my two options.
Okay, I love it. I love it. I love it. When was the last time you cried?
Like emotional cry or induced by movie cry?
Either or. Either or.
Because the last time I cried would have been sometime this week, me watching my K-drama. And I swear, as logical as I am, I still watch them. And I would talk to myself like, why are you doing this? Why are you not telling this? Like, literally, they'll be in love and they'll hide one little thing like, oh my gosh, I went to see my friend yesterday. And they will hide that for 3 episodes. And it pisses me off because it's like, why? But because it's a drama. it always causes this huge buildup of emotions, and it gets me every single time. So that would be the last time I cried, over, K-drama.
Hey, I guess it did its job.
Yeah, exactly. The last time I actually cried for personal reasons would have been I think the last time I thought about Belig, I think maybe not the last time or the second to last time I thought about him, I think I shed some tears.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. If you can go back in time to any age, and give yourself advice, what age would you go to?
21.
21. And would 21-year-old Astra listen to yourself now? Whatever advice you would give yourself, do you think you would listen?
Okay. I think so. Okay. 21-year-old me, I think that would have been 2012. I think I mentioned earlier that 2012 was a year that had an impactful moment. I would listen. I think at that time in my life, I needed a little push or a little bit of extra guidance from someone who wasn't Uh-oh.
No, you're here. You're here.
Okay. I think a call came in or something. All right. But anyway, 2012, I just need a little bit of guidance or a little bit of push from someone who wasn't that personality, or that advice wasn't available in my circle at the time.
Okay.
Also 2012 is the year that I didn't get engaged in 2012, but talks of marriage was made in 2012.
Okay.
Because I got married in 2013. So there's two pieces of information I definitely would have shared with 21-year-old me, who probably 20 or 21. Anyway. But you understand what I'm saying. Like,
I understand.
Yeah.
Absolutely understand.
Yeah.
Okay. Let's see. How do you relax?
There's different ways I relax. I'm a good driver. I do not like to drive, but sometimes when I need to clear my head and just to like unwind, and the first thing I would do is I would get in my car and just drive. I would drive down 80, which like literally goes east-west. I've literally made it into PA like a couple of times, just mindlessly driving, trying to process my thoughts. So I know you're like, oh, I said relax, not, process. But because of the way I am, categorizing and cataloging my emotions do put me at ease. So that is a form of relaxation.
Yes. Hey. You make your own, like, ain't nobody arguing with you on here about that.
No, I know. I just had to make that clear. But when driving is not a thing, I listen to music or watch K-drama.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah.
Y'all, this is the Makings of Astra. She's rocking with us. We in the last few questions of her Makings of You. You can check this out on Spotify, Apple Podcasts. You can watch us on YouTube to see all these facial expressions and reactions that we're having. Audible, almost anywhere you listen to a podcast, you can find us. But hey, let's get to the next question. What is a quote that you live by?
Our deepest fear is not that we are inadequate. Our deepest fear is that we are powerful beyond measure. It is our light, not our darkness, that most frightens us. Your playing small doesn't serve the world. There is nothing enlightened about you shrinking so that other people may feel enlightened. I forgot. That's as far as I remember. But definitely that quote. And when in doubt, do without.
Where are those quotes from? Do you recall?
So the first one, whenever you look it up, there's like a lot of different names that come up. The most popular name that comes up with that quote is Nelson Mandela. But apparently there's an extended version that's linked to this lady, and I cannot remember her name. How I found that quote, Coach Carter, a really good movie. I love that movie.
Good. You're the second person that used that quote.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah. And then the other one, when in doubt, do without. I don't know where I got that. I would like to say I thought of it on my own, but nothing under the sun is new. So somebody probably said it before me. But
if you want it, we can give it to you. That's what every coach can do.
I will definitely take that responsibility for that quote.
Astra.
Yeah.
Quotation angel.
Right. When in doubt, do without. It's a very important one because, we all come up in life in like certain situations and we don't know what to do, right? Mm-hmm. So when you don't know what to do, just don't do anything. Because sometimes doing something makes things worse. Sometimes it makes things better. But in doing nothing, you can neither make it better or worse. It'll just stay the same. In my opinion.
Okay. 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 Let's see. We got FOMO.
Okay.
We rocking and rolling, baby.
All
So
right.
y'all know if y'all listen, if y'all a frequent listener to everything culture and the makings of you, y'all know what's coming up. My favorite question, and that is, what is your last meal? What would it be, and who would prepare it for you?
Wow. Well, one,
Not on
love
no
food.
grim. I try to make not on no grim stuff like we all gonna go one day, but
I believe it or not, I am okay with death. I am okay with death. It's just how I handle losing loved ones that makes it a little thing. But I'm okay with death. My last meal would not be a meal. It would be a supper because I love food and I would want to taste all my favorite dishes before I go. Um, where to begin? I love all things Asian. Any kind of Asian food, love. I do not eat beef. Um, I try to eat it once a year just to like see if my body will be okay. But there's a lot of times I'll eat it and my body just can't digest it. So I actually get sick from it.
Mm.
So aside from beef, anything Asian, I will eat. Love it. The spice, everything. Raw tunas, raw fish, cooked spices, whatever. So that would definitely be one part. Anything Caribbean that I'm missing, right? That didn't fall under Asian would be there. And I have a really bad sweet tooth. Really bad sweet tooth. So desserts galore.
Okay, give me some actual dishes. Give me a couple names, and who would make them for you as well.
That's so hard though. Okay.
You ain't got to give me a lot. Give me like 3 of each. Give
I
me
know.
one Asian, one Caribbean, and one dessert. But you got to get who would make all these for you too. It don't have to be the same person.
Okay. I'll give you 4 because we have to compromise. So the first one. Okay. Okay. So by no means is this me showing bias. It's just the first one that comes to my mind. Asian, it would be the first one that comes to mind is palak paneer. Okay. Palak paneer. Palak is the Hindi or Gujarati word for spinach. And paneer is a vegan protein. Well, a non-meat protein. I don't know if it's vegan or vegetarian. I would have that. I don't know who would prepare it, but I have a family friend. I call her auntie. Her name is Geeta. She could make it. Or another family friend who I call mom. She's like my grandmother's age. She can make it for me. And I would eat that with puri. And a side of chana masala. That would be the Indian dish.
Okay.
Excuse me. Caribbean. I love pilau. Okay. I know I could have gone with curry. I know I could have gone with roti, but pilau. Pilau it's not Spanish. It's like the French Creole African part I was telling you about that I have in me. Mm-hmm. It is a cooked up rice. It is basically, you can do it with chicken or pork. You could do it with beef, whatever you want. We usually do it with chicken or pork. Basically, it's like you stew the chicken, then you add the rice or the pork, then you add the rice and you cook it up, fry it, and then you let it cook. So it'll come out more brown. We use brown rice. Plus, when you stew chicken, the coloring would go to the rice also. Then you add some peas and carrots or whatever else you want, and that's pilau. My mom would have to make that for me because I just love the way my mom cooks. And we usually you can eat it with a side of coleslaw. That would be the Caribbean. Then what was dessert? Wow. I know this is gonna sound Okay. Again, by no means is this me showing bias, but it would be that banana pudding ice cream I talked about all last year, this year.
All right.
Right?
Straight buzz.
But I do it's so hard. I do want some German chocolate cake right now, so that could also be an option. But anyway, yeah, those are my. Did I give you 3 or 4? Oh, the last one, the special one, the 4th one. I asked my mom to make me sweet and sour pork for my birthday. And I got it for Christmas because she wasn't feeling too well. But she makes this sweet and sour chicken or pork that I love. Love, love, love. So that would be that special dish.
Okay. Rocking and rolling right around. Okay. I'm gonna tell you some more stuff when we get done with this, but I love the responses. Love them.
Okay.
Got my stomach growling. Okay. What is your favorite holiday?
My favorite holiday would be Diwali, which
Wow.
is the Indian Festival of Lights. Sorry, I had to really remember what it was called. But yeah, it's the Festival of Lights.
Yes. I know I did something about it last year. I'm trying to think that I recognize it this year. But
Well, it's gorgeous. The colors, the culture. I know you're big into culture. And like I broke down my ethnicity. I know. I'm sorry, I just had to reiterate. But like you could reiterate, but I also want to reiterate
I
too.
appreciate it. I'm glad you recognize it. We do. And it's so fascinating. But that's why I love doing what we're doing right here.
But so yeah, definitely, and I appreciate you for having me doing this. So why I said Diwali, like I said, the Indian culture is very lively. It's very bright, festive. It's I want to say inclusive, but that might not be the right word. But it's very encompassing. It's very, what's the word where it just submerges you? Like it's, I don't want to say omnipresent because that's not the word, but you get what I'm trying to say. Like it's there. And it just makes me feel good. In addition to the food, right? And they do sweets. They do sweets. A lot of people do prayers, and like they'll the offering that they give to the gods, you can eat it also. Love it. Anyway, yes.
I went to a mosque in high school. Well, not high school, college. I took a world religion class when I moved to Houston.
Okay.
And that was one of my first sparks of really wanting to learn more. You know, I always say I can observe and not absorb, and I can do both. But it really showed me, and this was in 2006, 2007. And when I went to the mosque, you know, people would tell you all type of things and never seen it before themselves. But when you see it before yourselves, I was welcomed in by a friend, a study buddy. You know, we washed our hands, washed our feet, you know, went in, showed the ways of respect, and the amount of food they had there. I'm like, am I here for something special today? They're like, no, we do this every week. Like, and everybody was just like extremely kind. You know, I'm the only black guy there, and it was just like, and it was huge. It wasn't like a small, but they were just very welcoming, kind. It was fed me. And I'm like, how can you get like all these things you've been taught is a lie? Many things you've been taught is a lie. You
Of
think these
course.
people are bad people, but no, they're great people. They just have a
Yeah,
different way
and
of living life.
I actually I want to go to every house of worship there is.
So
That's one of my goals, to go to at least one of each. I've been to like pujas, which are prayers. But I've never been to a Hindu temple. I mean, I have. I just never been in the part for prayer. I've been in the canteen part. I want to go to a mosque. I want to go to, what's the Jewish one? I can't remember. Synagogue. Those are the top 3 that I definitely want to go to. I don't think Buddhists have a place of worship per se.
They do. Temple.
Oh, okay.
I went to one here. Shout out to my guy Prince. I actually had a previous Buddhist monk on the show.
Oh, nice.
You should check out his episode. Pretty
yeah, you gotta. I would watch. I would listen to that. Is it a making of you?
It's both. It's a Makings of You, and it's the journey of Prince. He was a monk. He became a monk at like 12 or 13. And he was a monk all the way into 20 or 21.
Okay, nice.
Became civilized, and he's a great. Hey, shout out to my man Prince and Mimi. They're expecting a baby coming very soon, so I'm excited for that. I mean, awesome people. Yeah. He's Khmer, so Khmer, Cambodian, and they're learning that whole. I didn't even know it was a Khmer. Let me stop.
Okay.
This is your.
No, I know it's a lot. It's a lot. Those Asian cultures are very large.
Yes.
Like in China, I don't remember the number, and I hate to give like spew numbers just randomly, but in China alone, there's like, I think, hundreds of dialects, and with those dialects come different cultures. Yes. It comes different foods and all that stuff. Same thing with India. There's a ton. So yeah, I definitely understand. You don't want to.
It used to be get into that. On this continent here, it used to be numerous and thousands of different languages with different tribes and people and cultures. But we're gonna talk about that another day.
Yeah.
But
that storyline.
Oh man! Hey, seriously, we'll touch on that. So we got our last 2 questions right here. Last 2 questions. What's your, and they kind of go hand in hand with one another. So I don't know which one I'm gonna ask first, but I'm gonna ask this one. So what is your purpose in your culture?
So traditionally, and this goes back to the first thing I thought of was that whole domestication conversation we had earlier. Because of the way my culture is, even though yes, it is modern, I am modern, it is very traditional, right? There's certain aspects of it that's very traditional. So the traditional purpose I would have in my culture is to marry and have children. That's that purpose, right? If I was still in Trinidad, I honestly probably would have been married with kids already. I mean, I've done the marriage part, but that didn't work out. But I would have, done the marriage and the kids part by now.
Yeah.
But like I said, life happens. That's not the path. Will I get there? I would love to. Will I? I don't know. But traditionally, that's the purpose I would have had.
Thank you. And last question. How would you want people to remember you?
Before I answer that, I don't want a traditional funeral. This is the prelude into that question, which I'll probably have to ask you to repeat. But I don't want a traditional funeral. I don't. I do want a viewing, but I do want to be cremated. but I do not want a single person to wear black. If anything, I want to be the only person wearing black at my funeral. If a lot of people who know me, I don't own a lot of black items unless it's like fabric clothing, like pants or shirts. But shoes, jackets, bags, I don't own a lot of things that's black, right? So that's the first reason why I don't want y'all wearing black at my funeral, right? Secondly, I don't want people to remember me with sadness. I don't want them to associate my life with sadness, because as I've already expressed multiple times, I've dealt with grief like losing friends, you know what I mean? And I want to do whatever I can to not make that process so difficult for them.
Yeah.
Right? I'm always laughing and smiling and joking with people, to the point where I think people don't take me seriously because of how much I laugh and smile, So I don't want people to remember me in a way that doesn't make them laugh or smile the way I would have made them laugh or smile. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
So that's the best way I can answer that. And I think I did answer, right? I think I did.
I think that was beautiful.
Yeah.
Yes. Thank you, Astra. Parentheses, Angel, aka Angel. Okay. So, congratulations. You just completed your first. Because people say they want to come back, but you just completed the Makings of Astra. How do you feel?
I feel good. I didn't know what to expect, which is always a good thing because you become pleasantly surprised.
Yes.
But yeah, you definitely stumped me with that question. I keep forgetting what it is, but you stumped me a few times.
When did you realize you were different?
Yes, you stumped me a few times. That one, I made it known that you stumped me. You stumped me with like one or two other ones, but I recovered quickly.
But once again, these are questions I love to hear from my guests and from more people, because these things, hopefully we get to have these discussions. So when people are worried, like, who is this woman on doing all these crazy tweets? Well, let's get to know her.
Yeah. Well, that's a whole different side of me, but
Hey, it's still you. It's still you.
It still is. Yes, yeah. It is.
So, if you're trying to be found, where can the people find you?
At the current time in Twitter, I guess, because
what's your Twitter handle? That's what I say. Toss your stuff, shout your stuff. If you want to shout it out, that's what I always say.
Well, no, I don't think so, because I'm not as active as I once was. So I'm gonna hold off. If we do this again, and we probably will, I'll shout it out then, because I think maybe it'll be better then.
If you down, you willing to come back, because I have some topics we could be touching on in season 4, in season 5. I'm so excited, and this has been an absolute pleasure right here. Thank you so much, Angel. Once again, y'all, I am Mr. D713, or Drake with Everything Culture, the podcast for all cultures, the podcast with a purpose. You can find us on Twitter. You can find us on Instagram. You can find us on Tumblr. You can find us on TikTok. You can find us on Facebook. You can find us anywhere you want to listen to a podcast at Everything Culture. On Twitter, we're every THG Culture, but you'll recognize that it's us. As well as you can listen to us on Apple Podcasts, Spotify. You can watch us on YouTube, but you also can go to our website at www.everythingculture.com. You can become a member on our website, as well as you can buy some merchandise. We have a lot of things coming up in the near future, so make sure to stay tuned and continue to check us out. Once again, we want to give Angel Astra another thank you and appreciation. This means a lot. We've been talking about it for some time, but we made it happen. So, I wish you all the best. We look forward to seeing y'all and hearing from y'all in the future. Thank you so much, and peace. What's happening, good people? It's your host, Drake of Mr. D713 with Everything Culture. Just letting you know, thank you. Thank you for listening to another episode of The Makings of You. We greatly appreciate your support. We look forward to more support in season 4. Make sure you check out www.everythingculture.com for our new merchandise, as well as check out all of our social media sites from Tumblr, Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, and TikTok, and IG. We're all over. We greatly appreciate your support, and we'll look forward to seeing y'all in the next episode. Peace.